Good morning guys, welcome to Keep Trekking, welcome back if there's been a four. Now today I'm in a wee Yorkshire town, a wee South Yorkshire town with some amazing history. It's in South Yorkshire, as I said. It comes under the burgh of Doncaster and it's close to Rotherham, and you may know where I am now, and that may give you a clue. Castle Hill. So guys, welcome to the wee town in South Yorkshire called Conisbrough. I love this fountain, or what once was a fountain. I don't think it's being used anymore. It's a coronation of King George V, the 22nd of June 1911. This lamp and fountain was erected by, your guess is as good as mine, I presume that'll say Doncaster Council. How nice is that? We'll have a look in the memorial gardens and the cenotaph. Now I have done this Conisbrough before, but it was a while ago. This is the Coronation Gardens, or Coronation Park. I love these benches. Conisbrough, Yorkshire Rose, absolutely. Don't think that's a ceremonial bench, but near mine. I just absolutely love these. Without people, you're nothing. Ian, Lanny, and Nidge. Little things that change people's lives. Absolutely agree with that. And then there's one to the RAF. Conisbrough 1914, RAF 1918. That is absolutely fantastic. And then they've got one for later conflicts. Conisbrough, Falkland Islands. Falklands conflict 1982. I remember that well. I was already a chap. Connaught Rangers, that's Irish I believe. Conisbrough, GM Moore, MM, Connaught Rangers. I think it's Irish. Could be wrong. And then we've got a few more. What a beautiful, and what a gorgeous day compared to the weather we've had recently. That's just the iconic, we will remember them. Fantastic. I'm going to have a look at the War Memorial. It's absolutely immense. See if there's any familiar names on this War Memorial. With a soldier, the First World War, stood at the top with his rifle and his bayonet fixed. Looks like they've can't see them being here from November time, but you never know, it is June. See if there's any familiar names on here. There we go. Eheg and Eheg. Fantastic. So I've seen a few eggs. There's no McGregor's though. But never mind. That is amazing. And you can possibly see Conisbrough Castle in the foreground there. Now I am going to have a walk around Conisbrough. I'm just winging this one because I weren't quite sure where I wanted to go. And we went to Houghton Farm Lodge at weekend, and I hope you appreciate them two videos upon the different. Was in Lincoln for the OMD concert. That was absolutely amazing. We loved that. They never seemed to disappoint, that band. Very iconic 80s band. And then we came straight back, quick turnaround, straight to Houghton Farm Lodge for the Wentfest, which is a family run festival just not far from here, to be honest. So I thought I'll do a trek around here today. So I'm just going to wing this one. There's a little memorial over here. I'm going to have a look, see what that is, and then there's A place, if you're very naughty, you may have been put once. This is absolutely wonderful. I'll read it for you. This memorial stone was laid to commemorate the centenary of the end of the Great War. That's World War One, if most people don't know. And in honour of Sergeant Lawrence Calvert, VC, that's Victoria Cross, and MM. I'm not quite sure what that is. Something medal, obviously. The 5th Battalion of the Coilty. Now, the Coilty is the King's Own Yorkshire Light Infantry for his actions on the 12th of September 1918 in France at the Battle of Havrincourt. Sounds very much like Agincourt, doesn't it? He was awarded the Victoria Cross for valour. Wow. That is absolutely wonderful. Now, I mentioned a few minutes ago, if you know, so you may have been in one of these back in the day. The old stocks, by order of the King's stronghold, Conisbrough. This is a royal borough, by the way, Conisbrough. That was a royal castle. I'll find a bit of history about it. I have done Conisbrough Castle inside. I'm not going inside today. I'm going to have a walk around and then have a walk around Conisbrough. Wow! Absolutely stunning today. This is like a proper June day. I'm right enthusiastic just to be back out. Please like and subscribe to Keep Trekking 2, and also keep subscribing to Keep Trekking, the original channel, which I'm still struggling to get back onto, unfortunately. What a view, what a picture in back, guys. Wow. I'm going to find a little bit of history, but I do know that it's in its current state due to the fantastic, the most amazing, the iconic castle destroyer Oliver Cromwell back in the English Civil War. Thanks, Oliver. Like I said, it was a royal residence, and there's a few stories about a Scottish play as well, or a Scottish writer wrote it anyway, to do with this castle. So Conisbrough Castle. I think it is English Heritage or National Trust. I'm not quite sure which one it is. I am a member of both, but I'm not going inside today. I have done a video in the past with our Phil inside Conisbrough. So if you want to check his old channel out, Keep Trekking, please go back and have a look at that one. It was a while ago, mind. But I'm going to have a walk around Conisbrough. I've never actually walked around Conisbrough before. And I'm just waffling on here, aren't I? So we need to crack on. And we'll have a quick look around the castle on the outside. And then I'll find a bit of history for you. And then we'll move on. Come on. Oh, by the way. Just noticed this in the tree for Christmas. I made 21st Conisbrough clubs by Ewan. My son's called Ewan, but it's E-W-A-N, that's E-U-A-N, so that's the Welsh way, I think. The Scottish way, my son's. And who's been following the World Cup so far? It's only just started, it's not real been. But, come on you bonny Scotland. Finally, after 28 years being in the World Cup, and finally getting that win, which has put Scotland in a great position to progress. 3 points, or a point against Morocco, and then they've just got Brazil in the last game. But if they can get something against Morocco, they could just play out Brazil and enjoy the experience. Come on, boys. It's first time ever qualifying from the group stage. And I suppose I better say it, good luck to England as well. As I'm just walking up to the castle, I've just come across this which says welcome to Conisbrough, and it's showing you the old town as where the places are. So you've got Conisbrough Castle, obviously number 1, And number 2 is the police station. Don't want to know about that, do we? Number 3 is the Wellgate. Now I've been there before. Oh, I've just got a little money spider. Might have to put lottery on tonight. So where is it? Number 3, Wellgate. Come on, I'm struggling. Here you go. That's your well. Been there before. And obviously this church of St. Peter's dates back, the original church dates back to 750 AD. So that is extremely old. We've got number 5, the Priory, which is here. I'm not a million miles away from that actually, to be fair. I'm walking up this road here at the moment. The Priory's, the old Priory's here. So you've got like a little map of old Conisbrough. Excuse me. I'll give you a little bit of history of Conisbrough while we're here. Ciringeborough, or whatever it's called. The defeated birth of the kings. Wow. Defended birth of the kings. Suggested that the area belonged to Anglo-Saxon kings before the Norman conquest. Archaeological remains shows that there has been a settlement in the Wellgate area since at least the 2nd and 3rd century, so this place is seriously old. So it's seriously old, like I said. The Domesday Survey states that the manor of Conisbrough contains 28 townships, though the village was a little more modern and modest with 21 villages. So it was only small. 11 small holdings, 1 priest, ploughed land, woodland, 2 mills and a church. Conisbrough was important hub for centuries. Use the bus. But after Richard of Conisbrough was executed for conspiracy against Henry V, he's the one that defeated the French at Agincourt, I believe. Henry V. In 1415, the castle became neglected, and by 1538, the certain walls around the keep had collapsed and the castle abandoned. So it's just a little bit of information. So I'm going to have a walk up to the castle, so don't get skittled. Don't do really, because this is a no entry. So I'm going to have a walk round, like I said, and then we'll have a look into Conisbrough itself. Sorry, I must start to speak properly. My partner keeps mentioning it to me, but it just comes out naturally, don't it? Can't help that. So we'll have a look up at the castle. I am proper waffling today because I'm so excited about being out in this wonderful weather in such a beautiful, beautiful wee town here in South Yorkshire, just south of Doncaster and just north of Rotherham. At least I don't need my passport. So like I said, it is actually English heritage. Just seen the flag flying at the top, which I thought it probably would be, because English heritage usually do castles and big manor houses, and National Trust is usually parks and stuff like that. So I'm going to stop filming in a second because there's kids, and then I'll get out of their way. But yeah, Conisbrough Castle. Yeah, a bit of history about it in a minute. So I was mentioning earlier about this castle being the backdrop and the inspiration to a Scottish writer, a very famous Scottish writer called Sir Walter Scott. Now, he used this castle as inspiration for his story and his bestseller Ivanhoe. That's just incredible to think a wee Yorkshire town had an inspiration to a Scottish writer. But I will also tell you a wee story about Scotland and Doncaster soon. Now I'm sorry, I'm just trying to keep the kids off my video for obvious reasons. Looks like there's a squirrel trip going off. So once they've gone inside the castle, I can show you a bit more about the outside. But Conisbrough means Burgh of the King, or the King's Burgh, in brackets, fortified settlement. The keep, which you've seen, I can't flip the camera around for kids, but the keep is one of the greatest and most intact fortified keeps in Europe, still standing. I know you've got like the Tower of London and things like that, but this outside of London, it's one of the most greatest preserved, should I say. That's great to English heritage. Somebody's cutting some trees down further up, so if the sound's a bit strange, that's what it is. Now, I said it was mentioned in the Domesday Book of 1086, I think it was Domesday Book, and it was given. Hiya, alright. No problem, mate. One of the staff just coming out of the tourist centre, which I'm going to show you in a minute. I think they've gone inside now. Yep, they have. So the key that you can see in the middle, that bit. After the Norman conquest of 1066, the castle and the land was given to the De Warenne family, which was a great knights who came over with William the Conqueror back in the day. But what an absolute stunning location today. Just love these old buildings. If that could tell a story, which on dark mysterious nights it probably could, if that could tell a story, what would that castle tell us today? So I'm actually in the museum at the moment. The nice fella who works here has just let me have a wander around to have a look at some artefacts and some finds and a little bit of history. The kids are in the castle at the moment, so I can film at the moment, and then obviously I'll get out of their way. But there's a great little legendary story here, myths of the castle. I'm just going to flip it around so you can read it, so I don't have to talk too much being inside. But this little museum is well worth a visit, I would suggest. I'm just going to flip you around. My interpretation of how it would have looked back in the day, or how I interpret it anyway. So this is the main keep. The walkway at the top that's no longer there, obviously. And then it's like a timeline through the centuries. and then the great story of Ivanhoe. I'll tell you a story that this gentleman's just told me in a sec when I get back outside, of why this castle was mentioned in the last chapter. So, that guy was absolutely wonderful. He didn't want me to film him because I could have explained a little bit about the castle from an expert's point of view. Thank you to the English Heritage, by the way. Lovely guys. If you want to subscribe to English Heritage, subscribe to them because they're amazing charitable thing. So, get off slide. So, it was saying the reason that the castle, when Sir Walter Scott came and stopped in this area, I didn't know he did actually, but obviously must have done. He came and stopped in this area, and when he saw the castle, he thought, ooh, because it's a round, it's one of the only two left in the country that are round castles, the round keeps, rather than these usual square ones. So basically, he saw that and thought it must be Anglo-Saxon. So he put it in his Anglo-Saxon novel, Ivanhoe. And it's actually Norman. So it's after the Anglo-Saxons, but he didn't know that, did he? Still wonderful, all I've got to say. Now, he was explaining, I thought it was destroyed in the English Civil War, but it wasn't. Something else he corrected me on. So I'm always happy to be corrected by history, unless it's my partner, then me and her just have a little bouts. We love having little debates. But anyhow, that curtain wall there is original. Well, it's all original, but that curtain wall, when the castle was abandoned and it fell into disrepair, they left it, they moved away. The inside is built to royal standard. The De Warren family was high up in the hierarchy. There was like basically the king's family, I think they were. But when it was abandoned, and when it came to the English Civil War, it was in such a bad state that it wasn't worth blowing up. So they left it. It actually fell down on the other side, which I'm going to have a walk around and I'll show you then when I get there. It was actually abandoned and just left to rack and ruin. There is a walkway that he said I could walk around, which is I'm going to do now. Just have a walk right all the way around the castle. So let's go and have a look and see what we can see. Got to say, you know, looking from this vantage point, I know I'm not as high up as the castle at the back of me, but I can see why this was chosen as a location. We're really high up. Excuse me if the houses wasn't there, you could see down into the valley. All surrounding this area is all valleyed, and this is the highest point. Now he was telling me that somewhere on this land is a burial mound. I'm sure after all these centuries they would have found it by now, but who knows. The burial ground of a very powerful, I don't know if it was a king or a very powerful knight. It may have said it on that board that I was showing you earlier and mentioned it, but I didn't see it because I was obviously filming it for you guys. But wow, if there is a burial site and nobody's found it, I think that's quite strange after all these centuries. But who knows? Who am I to judge? Who am I to say that there isn't one? Legends and myths have all come from somewhere. They're not just something that somebody sat around a campfire eating veal, chicken, whatever, centuries ago decided to come up with. legends have all come from somewhere. It's like the legends of King Arthur. Now, if King Arthur actually existed back in the time it's supposed to, he'd have probably been walking around in a toga. Near mind this silver armoured plate, later century stuff. You're talking 14th, 15th, 16th century for metal armour. Definitely not back in the 8th century, 6th, 7th, 8th century when he was supposed to be in here. He certainly wouldn't have been walking around in armour. It's like when you watch Braveheart and you see them all in kilts. Nah. Kilts wasn't even a thing back in 13th, 14th century. They're a lot later. 18th, 17th, 18th century kilts. And then it was an Englishman that decided for his workforce in Scotland that the big kilt, the great kilt, was getting caught in his machinery, so he cut the top half off and then just kept them in the lower half of the kilt, which is where you get your modern day navel to knee modern kilts. But anyhow, enough of these stories, myths and legends of that, and let me show you an absolutely amazing view of this keep here at Conisbrough. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? That is just one fantastic view of the keep here at Conisbrough Castle. And I presume where that little old chamber bit is there, that looks like a toilet. That looks like an hole for a toilet. I reckon I'm probably right on that one. Absolutely fantastic. So, you reckon that the keep was probably built in about 1170, 1180. They're not 100% sure. But it escaped, like I said, the English Civil War through the state of I can't even say that word. Neglect. I always thought that this keep, this castle, was destroyed in the English Civil War, but I'm sure if it was, they would have also destroyed the keep. Which they didn't. Obviously the top half of the keep is no longer there. That's fell in through time of neglect because it was a wooden palisade at the top. And apparently round the edges at the top, if you've seen on that picture inside, that little model, there's like little walkway where you could walk all the way around. Now I can't see where the doors would have been, so maybe that was higher and it was on that level. But I just love this castle. I've passed it a lot of times, I've been inside it twice, I've been to it a few times, and I absolutely love this castle. Yeah, it's not Edinburgh, it's not Stirling, it's not the Tower of London. Little maggot. But it's ours. It's a South Yorkshire castle. And it's just wonderful. I love it. As most of these places become, especially in Victorian times, it became a tourist attraction even back then. And you know how Victorians love their history. What they didn't know they made up, and that is where we have to decipher today what's real and what's not, because the Victorians created So much made up history. Completely threw everybody off the scent of a lot of things. Like Scotsmen wearing kilts back in the 14th century. Thank you, Victorians. Like a lot of myths and legends, yes, they've all come from somewhere and they're a lot older than what the Victorians are, but the Victorians made it fashionable. This is one of the curtain walls the guy was talking to me about here, that just collapsed through decay and neglect, and they never rebuilt it. Like a lot, this place is probably worth more as a ruin to tourists than it would be if it was all built up. Victorians will love that, just like we love it today. It's not the biggest castle, but it's certainly one of the most nice, beautiful, scenic I've seen, and I've seen a lot. Now this is going to be very hard to believe. I mean, really hard to believe, especially if you live in South Yorkshire and you're actually from the city of Doncaster, because it is a city now. In 1136, the Treaty of Durham, to stop any further Scottish advancements, King Stephen of England gave Doncaster to King David I of Scotland, the burgh of Doncaster, as a dowry, a bribe, to stop Scottish advancements further into England, into his territory. And there's no official documentation that say the city was ever signed back to England. So officially, Doncaster is still a Scottish city in the middle of Yorkshire. Well, middle of South Yorkshire anyway. So, if you're from Doncaster, or the burgh of Doncaster, you're a Scotsman. So, I think I'm going to sit here for a bit. I'm going to have some scran. What a beautiful, beautiful little park. What a beautiful, iconic place. The castle in the background, to have something to eat. Let's see what I've got. Got some beef jerky, seeing as America seems to be a big thing at the moment. I've got, have a look, you have to proof. Powerade drink, and I've got a jumbo sausage roll. So I'm going to sit here for 10 minutes with this beautiful place at the back of me and have some scran. What a stunning day. I love summer. Absolutely love summer. We waited for it for ages, and we got all that hot weather which we were working. As soon as we got some time off, it rained. I'm going to tuck into this and I'll catch up with you in a bit. While I'm still eating my food, it's gran. A lovely lady gave me this. Now, it's presented by the Doncaster Music Service. It's concerts at the castle. Now, on the 27th of June, it's a free entry from 11 AM till 2 PM. And it's young bands, brass bands by the looks of it, and other type of bands. Just come and see the young people of Doncaster playing in the stunning setting of Conisbrough Castle. So there's your times, I think you can see that. But that would be absolutely wonderful if you're really interested in doing something like that and seeing something like this. She was a lovely woman. Had a good little conversation with her. And it's for a good cause, to promote young players and bands. So please, if you can, come along. 27th of June, I think he said. 27th of June. It's a free entry, but it's even better. Not a bad sausage roll, to be honest, but it is more pastry, fluffy pastry, and not a great deal of sausage. I think I'd rather have more meat than pastry, to be fair. But I'd probably give it about 4 out of 10. Alright, fills in oil, but I think I'd rather have a Greggs one, or even a proper baker's sausage roll. The pastry's lovely, and the sausage is nice, but there's not enough meat. Not for me. Tasty though. Now we're looking in shop the other day for something to take with us to Wentfest, and which we didn't have, obviously. We came across this Powerade. These are the drinks available. It's an isotonic sports drink with vitamin B5. Helps reduce tiredness and fatigue. I've never had it before, so I'm going to give me a quote on that one. Limited edition. This is Attack. This is the red one. This is Attack. I think the blue one is a defender. I think they're all positions of football on a football pitch. It's quite flavoury. It's quite nice. It's a flat drink. It's not a fizzy drink, which is good. It's full of flavour. It reminds me of cream soda a bit, to be fair. It's quenching, and it hits your palate straight away, which is good. That means it's hydrating you. The Powerade Attack. It's not a bad drink, that. I'm going to try. I've never ever tried beef jerky. So I'm going to try it. I've seen it a few times on shelf and that, and I thought, shall I? I thought, yeah. But today I'm going to try a little bit. It's only a small bag. There's only about 6 pieces in here, to be honest. But I've never tried it before, so Smells like barbecue. Let's try it. Quite chewy. %100% beef, high protein, which is also good. It tastes, excuse me, it tastes like those what do you call them, long thin sausage things, whatever you call them now, but a bit more barbecue-y. Quite like that. Quite chewy though. Wouldn't recommend it if you've got bad teeth or a loose tooth. Pepperani things. Pepperani is it? Tastes just like that. Got a bit more barbecue flavour, which is nice. Don't mind that actually. It's like a piece of bacon, isn't it? So I'm going to give that drink a 9 out of 10. That's nice. And I'm going to give the 8 out of 10. The only reason I'm giving them 8, there's not enough in bag. In fact, just noticed, what's this? You can get it out. What's that? Oxygen absorber. Weird. Yeah, there's not enough in bag, so I'm going to get an 8. It's nice though. We'll finish these and then we're going to move on. So as I leave Conisbrough Castle behind, I'm going to have a walk down into a little wooded area just at the bottom of this road and have a look round there and see if there's anything else I can see. But wow, that was quite nice. Never had beef jerky before. The most important thing to do when you're eating out, picnics, anything like that, is take your rubbish on with you. When we were at Lincoln Castle, after the concert had finished, I'm not kidding, it was a right mess. And there was bins all over the place, by the way, but people just chucked the rubbish down. Take it on with you, leave no trace. Oh, can't see the castle now. Where's it gone? It's mysteriously disappeared. Trust me, it is there. How weird's that? It's just like it's erased from history. It's just gone. It is actually there. That is so weird. On this camera, there we go. It's coming back to view now. That is strange. Twilight Zone. Got into a pre-dimension when it didn't exist. Have a look across the road at this park. So I saw this park as I was passing earlier, It's called Mill Peace. So I show you the sign. So I thought, wonder if it's got some historical buildings as well. Yeah, Mill Peace. That's a beautiful sign, by the way. Conisbrough Mill Pond. So I'm wondering if they've actually got some historical buildings still standing. Looks like they might have. The Mill Peace Pond, also known as the Dam, says a lot, is a site of significant importance to the history of Conisbrough. It was first referred to in the Norman Domesday Book. It shared the site with one or two mills mentioned in the book, which were at the time valued at 32 shillings each. Wow. So let's go and have a look and see what else I can see while I'm here in Conisbrough. Nice wee brook. So, now then, decisions, which way to go. I think I'll stick to the main path at the moment and see where that leads me. Wonder if anybody's missing out. You might want to know where it's been. That's a Phil joke, that's a proper dad joke, that. Couldn't resist. So that path just brought me out into this little park, but it looks like, well, I'm not so sure, but it's nice. Unfortunately, it looks like a lot of people's been taking coke here. If you get me drift. Just going to follow this path on. One thing I do love about these small walks in the woods, when you're close to a town and a city, it feels like you're miles and miles away, but yet you're only 200-300 yards away from main road, which is a very busy road from Doncaster to Rotherham. Now this is taking me back downhill, so maybe to the old mill site, I don't know. Like I say, I'm just winging this today. But sometimes the best treks are just winged. There's no rhyme or reason. This is a lovely path. Nice wee bridge. Well, there's going to be a troll that's going to jump out and ask for me to do something. Maybe fetch him a strawberry. God, I love it when the leaves are back on trees. Makes it feel very serene. Serene. Quiet and nice. Shocking with these big words. Nice little wood walk. Labour of love. It's nice. They've put quite a bit of effort into these type of places, I've got to say. Beautiful. Now, shall I continue on this side, or should I go across onto that side? Decisions, Jay. Might stick on here and see where it takes me. Right, so the old castle mill is now a business centre, so I think I'll turn around and go the other way over the bridge. Thought it was going to bring me out into an old building, but that's the old castle mill. It's now a business centre, like I said, so I'll go back into the woods and go the other direction. A bit disappointing. I thought it was going to be a bit longer and a bit more historic. Hey, oh, you can't have everything, can you? So I'm just about back in woods. So there's a wee bridge I can cross over and go to the other side. The river in the bottom there. Ah. I do love wood walks across this old metal bridge, looking downstream and looking upstream. Imagine when it floods, it'll be quite an heavy running stream, that. Oh. Take it on, or put it in a bin. Wow. I've just passed this young lady with a dog. Stoned out of the head. Absolutely reeked of weed. That was strong. I feel like just walking past her. Can I swear on this channel? No, better not. Oh heck, that was bad. The dell. Which way shall I go? That way. I'll continue going straight up. Not sure. So, that little path has brought me back out of the park, so I'm at the side of the main road now, So I think I'll go back to the car and get on, have a nice cup of tea. So I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. J-Art. Keep trekking. Till next time, trek on. Ta-da! There you can see it. Nice little picnic bench over there. That might be a better view. See you again, ta!